and welcome back to Elixir Forge. So in our last videos we talked about data types, and today we're going to dive into collections and enumerables. So let's try to get understanding of what are collections and what are enumerables. So differences between collections and enumerables. So we're gonna, before we start diving into the various data types that we can use for this and why we are using them. In Elixir, collection and enumerables are related but has a distinct subset. So this is going to be a learning for both of us, because I also don't really know the difference between the two. So a collection is any data type that can hold multiple elements. So that's a keynote over there. So let's get that down. That a collection is any data structure that can hold multiple elements. So when we say data structure that can hold multiple elements, such as map, range, that's why they say a list is an example of enumerables. So examples, so they even give us examples such as list. We have lists. So a tuple is a collection, but a tuple is not an enumerable. So maps, ranges, because of its definition, and keyword list. So today we're going to be treating three. So we're going to be treating map, range, and I think we're going to treat keyword list depending on how fast we can, whatever we can cover. Not all collection implement the enumerable protocol. So let's get that keynote that not all collections implement So the enumerable protocol is not all collections that can implement the enumerable proportions, such as tuples. So that's why we say tuples are collection, but they are not enumerable. In the essence that you have to turn it back to a list in order to use the enum function in it. Enumerable is any data type that implement the enumerable protocol. So we have gotten that an enumerable is any data structure that implements the enumerable protocol. Enumerable can be transversed, meaning you can iterate over their elements using the enum protocol. So it can be transversed. So example is list. We have list, maps, we have ranges, then we have streams. So streams are similar to, I think streams and enum, but we're still going to talk about streams and enums when we're talking a little bit about enumerable. So we have streams, and the key differences: hold multiple elements, both implement enumerable, not always work with enum function. Yes, so this is like a breakdown. So this is collection, this is a enumerable. So we say list, is it collection? Check, is it an enumerable? Check. Map, is it a collection? Check, is it an enumerable? Check. Range, is it a collection? Check, is it an enumerable? But tuple is a collection but not an enumerable. So let's keep that in mind. So we are going to start with keyword. So we are going to start with keyword and maps. So when we talk about keyword list, so either keyword and map, we have keyword list, we have map as a key value pair. So that's why I said map has a key and value pair, meaning that every key in a map has a value. So if you're going to be using a map, you must, and you're going to be using pattern matching. So pattern matching is something that we are going to discuss on its own, because it is used a lot in Elixir, and it helps you to write code in a very simpler version. So with pattern matching now, it's easy and cool to write your code using checks like, okay, using a check to say, okay, if this exists, then this should take place over here. So we're going to be talking about keyword list first and map. So now let's talk about associative data structure. Associative data structures are able to associate a key to a certain value. So that's what maps do. They associate a key to a data value. Different language call this, like some call it dictionary, some call it hashing, some call it associative arrays. But in Elixir, they are known as maps. Why a keyword list are a data structure used to pass options to value. So string.split. Imagine you want to split a string of number, literally revoke string, passing two values as an argument. Okay, you can use options to limit the splitting algorithm to a maximum number of parts. So you can determine how you want to split it into an algorithm to a maximum number of parts. So you can split it into 3, you can split it into 4, depending on how you want to split that data and how you want to trim it. So this is a very key note here. We should know that when a keyword list is the first argument of a function, it can skip the bracket and write it in this way. And keyword lists are mostly used as an optional argument to functions. They are mostly used as optional arguments to functions. So keyword lists are important because they have 3 specific characteristics. Keys must be atom. So keyword lists have these 3 characteristics that makes them stand out. So let's get that correct. So we don't think of keyword lists like map. The first one, keys must be atom. So your key must be atom. Keys are stored, keys are ordered, and keys are ordered as specified by the developer. So keys can be given more than once. Good morning, sir.
Hi.
Keys can be given more than once. So keys can be given more than once. For example, we can use key. For example, sorry about that. For example, we can use the fact that keys can be repeated when importing functions. So when you go through the documentation more and more, you get to understand the various ways of keys. And when we start dealing with talking about examples and doing more of practical work, we're going to be using these data types and these enumerables and collections at different aspects, because the truth is there's nothing you want to do in Elixir where you're not going to pattern match, where you're not going to use map, and where you're not going to be using key and value. So Don't worry, guys. The more you learn, the more you code, the more these things just it becomes part and parcel of you. And before you know, you don't even need the definition. You don't need to know how it works because you already know how it works. Yeah. So let's talk about maps, and this is where we're going to end it today. The next time we're going to meet up, we're going to talk about. So the next time we meet up, we would. Yep. So the next time we come around, we're going to be talking about map, map sets, range, and stream. So today we talked about keyword. We talk about keyword, and keyword is a list that contains exclusively two elements: the keys and the values. And keys are always an atom. Yeah, we got that. The keys must be an atom. The value can be any data type, but the keys always comes in as an atom. So if you can see here, exit or close is the key, the true is the value, active is the key, and once is the value. So a keyword map may have duplicate keys, so it's not strictly a key value data type. However, most of the functions in this module work on key value structure and behave similar to the function you could run in the map module. So keys and keyword and map, they are they're like, those twins that are cardinal twins or identical twins, and if you're not careful, you're gonna miss one for the other. That's the way it works, but don't get it twisted. They have a little bit of differences. Like sometimes I miss say, oh, keys, and I'm talking about map, and I'm like, wait, this is a map, or wait, is this a key? Like, this is a keyword, so you don't let it confuse you. They almost have the same, like they work similarly, and they are both can be used as enumerable, but they have a little bit of differences. So I don't want to bombard it a lot and start talking about keys and start talking about map and mixing both together. So today we are going to just talk on keywords, and the next time we meet we're going to talk map and another map set. So we're going to do it that way so it doesn't get confusing. So that keyword list is a list that consists exclusively of two element tuples. So inside the array or inside the list, let me not use array. Inside the list, there are always going to be a babies, and the two babies are twins. So one is the key, one is the value. That's the first twin. One is the key, one is the value. It can contain so many twins. So you can have like 10 twins, 20 twins, depending on the number of data that wants to be passed on that keyword. But just remember that one of the twin is going to be an atom. Yeah, so it can be the first child, the first twin, which is always the key. Like the eldest is always going to be an atom. So the value of can be anything. As I told you, it can be any data type that can be value. And keywords are mostly used to work with optional values. For a general introduction to keywords and how they compare, see our keyword and maps guide. So you can check out this. So these are examples, and a key can be an atom consisting of a Unicode letter, numbers, underscore, at if the key should have any other factors. So sorry, a keyword may have duplicate keys, so it's not explicitly a key value data type. However, most of the functions in the module work on a key value structure and behave similar to function, and you could find in the map module. For example, keyword.get will get the first entry matching the key value, regardless if duplicate entries exist. So it's always going to get the first values. So we have keyword.put, keyword.delete. So the same way we have map.put, we have map.delete. So I told you they're almost similar, but have a bit of differences. So that's a wrap for today. Thank you for staying tuned. See you in the next video. Thank you.